I want to first start off giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors on top were apostles, as well as the men that taught them, the elder high priests, as well as the elder bishops and the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings unto the 144,000 and the rest of the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Abadia from the GMS Houston camp. And I'm going to get into Romans, the 13th chapter, starting at the 11th verse. I was looking for a lesson to do, okay? And the elder Atazaria, he did a lesson titled, give me 1 second. All right, I had to go and check the name of the video. I want to give the right title, okay, for his video called Sudden Destruction, Walk as Children of the Light. And I knew the sudden destruction part. That's in 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, starting at the first verse and read down. Okay, but I didn't forget, but I wasn't thinking of it goes into, walking as the children of the light when you read down. What I was thinking of was Romans 13 and 11, because it also goes into the same thing. It's just worded a little different, So I came to Romans, the 13th chapter, 11th verse, and I'm gonna, read a few verses because this is the time that we're in, We're in a time where our salvation is near. And we know this based upon prophecies. And Lord willing, this video is edifying. So let's go ahead and get into it. Romans 13 and 11, it says, and that knowing the time, the ones that know the time of those of us that have the understanding of the scriptures, everybody else don't know what time it is. 2/3 of our people, they don't know what the hell is going on. These Edomites, they bugged the hell out. They don't believe they're going into hardcore slavery. They don't believe that this place is going to be lit up by thermonuclear missiles. Well, America is going to be totally obliterated by thermonuclear fire. Okay? These heathens don't know what the hell is going on. The only ones that really know what's going on is the elites on the left-hand side and the elites on the right-hand side. Okay? The elect, the ones that have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these scriptures, is starting with the 144,000, and we, we hope to be of that number. If you have this knowledge, it's a good chance that you could be of that number. Okay, and you're an Israelite, of course. An Israelite with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you could be of the 144,000. If you're a man, you have to be a man, an Israelite man, with this knowledge and teaching or prophesying. Okay? And the elites, they know what's going on, but they believe they can upset prophecy. They believe they can come against the Most High and do their own thing. The Heavenly Father have them in a trick bag. That's why Job, I believe it's 12 and 16, it says, with him it is strength and wisdom, meaning with the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. It says the deceived and the deceiver are his, meaning the Most High set up this devil, and the Heavenly Father knew he wired him to be a deceiver. He's not deceiving on his own. The Heavenly Father wired this man to be the devil and to rule in deception. Right? Isaiah was at 45 and 7. I create the light and the darkness. Hold on, let's get that real quick. Yes, Isaiah 45:7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, do all these things. All right. So the elites are set up. They were set up in the power by the Most High himself. Okay. Job 9:24. And he knew that, and he set him up to play his role in the Heavenly Father's movie, which is the script for the movie is the Bible. Okay. And Esau has done his job very well, but it went to his head, you know. And he said, well, shit, I got the power. I've been deceiving the earth for all these years. You know, I'm unstoppable. And if the Most High try to stop what I'm gonna do, change up the script, then I'm gonna deal with him. That's the mindset of this devil. How proud of him? I mean, how proud is he? Very proud. So they know what's going on, but ultimately they don't know what we know. Okay? They don't have faith. See, we believe their kingdom is going down. We know it's going down. They believe they're going to upset the prophecies. Okay? They believe they're going to establish their new world order and it's going to take hold in this earth for eternity. That's the goal. Okay? But they're sadly mistaken according to biblical prophecy. Esau, you lose in the end. So let's get it. Romans 13:11, and that knowing the time, this is for us of the hopeful elect, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. And we all had to come out of the sleep, being spiritually sleep. Or in other words, when you sleep, you see nothing but darkness. Okay? Or another way of saying it is you're spiritually dead. Okay? And we've been awakened through this, through the preaching of the gospel to this truth. The true understanding of what the scriptures is talking about, which tells us, you know, our history, world history. It tells us prophecy. Okay? Law, statutes, and commandments, wise sayings, how to you know, have a wise mind and use wisdom in the earth. All right? Yep. So through this knowledge, this is how you waken out of sleep. But of course, it has to come. The awakening ultimately comes from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Ephesians 2:8. Faith cometh by it says you are saved through faith by grace. Okay, I was thinking of Romans the 10th chapter where 10 and 17, where it says faith. So you have to have the faith, which is a gift. All right? The gift of faith. Let's get that real quick. Right. So this is, I think I said it backwards. Ephesians 2:8, it says, for by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So you have to get the gift. The way that gift is really activated is by what I'm going to read here in Romans 10 and 17. So Romans 10 and 17, it says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So that's how faith is really, that gift is activated in the hopeful elect. It's by hearing this word. So if you're hearing this word, that means somebody's There's prophets on the other side prophesying. Okay? And when that happens, that begins the process of waking up out of sleep. Okay? Sleep to the truth. All right? And then we understand that our salvation is near. The reason we woke we woke up and we understand that the elect was going to wake up in the last days through the preaching of this gospel. Okay? Well, since I mentioned that, I have a precept to back that up real quick. This is in the book of Baruch. I'm not pulling it up on my phone. I got it in my hard copy, the Apocrypha. All right, this is Baruch chapter 4, verse 37. It says, Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away, because we were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right? Because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. One of the curses that befell us was that we were scattered all over the world. It says, they come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Yeah, because ultimately, what are we preaching? Salvation. You know, Matthew chapter 10, verse 5, 6, and 7. You know, we're supposed to go preaching the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Meaning what? If the kingdom of heaven is at hand, that means our salvation is at hand. All right? And we know this based upon prophecy. We see the situation going on with America, Israel, Iran, and other countries now, which is really a world war. We're in the beginning stages of this last war. Okay? Which is prophecy. A war to end all wars. These nations then built up their militaries. They done invested, money into their military to fulfill prophecy, to go to war. Really to go to war with this fucking devil, the so-called white man, Esau. Okay? Let the weak say I'm strong. And that's what they're doing through their military. These other nations at one point in history wouldn't have dared, make threats against America. But now, America is weak. And these other nations are strong. But America's sticking their chests out, Babylon the Great, okay, is sticking its chest out through the mouth of Trump, as if America's still big, bad, and dominate and can dominate the earth, and nobody can do nothing about it. And that's not the case. Not the case at all. These other nations are like, you got us effed up. And the scriptures tell us in Ezekiel 38 that Gog and Magog was going to be a guard onto these nations. By what? By giving them military weapon technology, excuse me. Yes, to build up their military, to strengthen their military. All right? And we see the whole infrastructure is set up. Everything is really set up, to go fully digital. We're just waiting on this devil to do his thing. But we're at the point where, they're going to streamline this world economy digital, which is going to lead to the prophecy of Revelation 13 and 16. And we see it right here at the door. We see the prophecy speaking. All right? So we know our salvation is very near. All right? Verse 12, it says, The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Yeah, the night far spent is this devil's kingdom. This night represents, the end of Esau's kingdom. All right? And the night is almost over. The day is at hand, meaning the kingdom is about to be established on this planet Earth. But before it happens, all out destruction is going to come upon this earth. All right? That's why it's so important for us to really put we're at the point now is just to put the finishing touches on. But in other words, I use a phrase y'all brothers are familiar with, we trying to become the best version of ourselves. It's a spiritual man, a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And the Passover is tomorrow at Eve. And we supposed to get all the leaven out of our house and do all the preparations for the Passover. And we'll have the Passover. And symbolically, we're supposed to remove the leaven out of our lives. Okay? Things that can stunt your growth or not allow you to be the best you can be in this ministry. And whatever that may be. So, now is the time to get it right. We're not going to be perfect until we get the new covenant. But now it's, I'm saying this through the Spirit, it's time to be more stoic than ever. That stoic spirit and keeping things simple. All right, it says, let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. This is what I was thinking of when I read the title to the elder video. I was thinking of this part of Romans 13. Okay. And the rest of let's just deal with America. This kingdom is almost finished. It's really finished. We're just waiting on Yahweh Shem Yahushua to put the finished touches on this place and destroy it. And the kingdom is going to be here. Meaning Yahushua is going to crack the clouds and set up righteousness on this planet Earth. So leading up until then, it says, let us cast off the works of darkness. Let us put on the armor of light. And it all starts in the mind. It's a thing of the mind. Change your mind, and that generates our how we conduct ourselves. All right? And we coming into the time where Esau, with his system, he's all about attacking the flesh and trying to, keep his grips on, keeping his grips on people through attacking the lust of the flesh. Okay? And that's, when the prophecy of the MOTB happens, that's when we're going to see who's really attached to this carnal kingdom and who's not. Are you lusting for the kingdom, or are you lusting after this place? It says, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness as the rest of the 2/3 are. Or, excuse me, as the 2/3 are. Right now as we speak, this place is going down and Jake is still bugged out. And they are operating in rioting and drunkenness. They looking for the next party. They looking for the next event. And this place is dead. They ain't getting nothing out of it. Oh, and the Jake men then checked out. They not even going out like that no more. There's you women out there with no men, you so-called black women. It says, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. And this place is so finished that these people can't even really tap into this foul spirit of drunkenness and rioting and chambering and wantonness. I mean, they getting the last little bit they can get out of this place. But a lot of people done checked out on that because this place is so zapped. The energy is just so zapped from this place. Okay? It says, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach. How do we put on Yahushua Mashiach? This knowledge. It's all about a thing of the mind. Putting this knowledge in our mind. And then living by it. Making decisions based upon it. And make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Okay? Basically, we either going to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai, or you going to serve this world. Be caught up all into this world, which is all about fulfilling the lust of your flesh, doing what you want to do, what makes you happy. If you doing, if you in that spirit, and your focus is not on Yahweh Shem Yahushai and these prophecies, all right. So I'm gonna end the video right there. This was just something to push, or a video to push. Our salvation is near, and you know, for us we don't got much longer to put the finishing touches, you know, on our growth, which is no finishing. We gonna, Lord willing, you know, we're gonna keep growing until we get up out of here, you know. But what I mean is, like I said, you know, becoming the best spiritual version of ourselves before we get out of here. Okay, so Lord willing, you know, this video was edifying, and until the next one, I say shalom.